Hi everybody, I'm trying something new for my half square triangle class. I am going to make a quick little video telling you how to cut your fabric before class. Now, if you're somebody that bought the half yard light fabric and half yard dark fabric, like the supply list said, you can follow right along. There is one difference. You can use scraps for any of these cuts. I will tell you where the one difference is if you're using scraps. I am using fat quarter cuts just for an example. Of course, if you have a half yard cut, you would have a lot wider piece. So the very first cut we're going to make is a 3-inch strip by width of fabric from both the light and the dark. So I would just cut 3 inches here and I would cut 3 inches here. Now, if you're using scrap fabric for this, I think the recommended strip width would have to be, it's still 3 inches, but you need to have at least 21 inches. So if you have that half yard piece, you'll have a strip that's 3 inches by approximately 42 inches. You're going to label those two strips number 1 and set them aside. Then what you're going to do is open up your remaining fabric. So remember, if you actually have a half yard, you'll have a much wider piece than this. So I'm opening up the light first, and I'm opening up the dark fabric, and I'm layering them so that I have only a single layer. And of course, it would be best if your fabric is ironed before you cut. So I'm layering them, single layer once again, and then our second cut is going to be making a 14-inch, obviously by 14-inch square cut. Once you cut that out of both the light and the dark, I want you to label those number 2 and set them aside. The third cut we're going to be making is a 6 by 9 inch rectangle. Cut them both out of the light and the dark, label them number 3, and set them aside. Your fourth cut is going to be a 7-inch square. Once you cut it out of the light and the dark, label it number 4 and set it aside. Your fifth cut is a 5-inch square. Once you have that cut from the light and the dark, label its number 5 and set it aside. Then you're going to be cutting a 3 3/8 inch by 3 3/8 inch square, both out of the light and dark. Label it number 6 and set it aside. And your final cut will be just a 3-inch square, both out of the light and the dark. Label those number 7 and set them aside. That's all you will need to do to prep your fabric for class. Have a good day.